Hey, the Jazz Doctor here. Right now is the best time for you to make a pledge and support our students in the Student Learning Lab during our fall membership drive here at 91.1 WHFC. Support us with what you can at WHFC911.org. And thanks.
Hey, everyone, it's Rich Bennett. Can you believe it? The show is turning 10 this year. I am so grateful for each and every one of you who've tuned in, shared an episode, or even joined the conversation over the years. You're the reason that this podcast has grown into what it is today. Together, we've shared laughs, tears, and moments that truly matter. So I want to thank you for being part of this journey. Let's make the next 10 years even better.
Coming to you from the Freedom Federal Credit Union Studios, Harford County Living presents Conversations with Rich Bennett.
Slow pitch
It's probably the least sexy part of the work, and I don't That's okay. No. The truth is,
what if you could dramatically reduce anxiety, boost your confidence, and transform your relationships? All through a powerful blend of science, psychology, and technology. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Foojan Zeine, a licensed psychotherapist, author, and the brilliant mind behind awareness integration theory. With over 30 years of experience and a new app that's revolutionizing mental wellness, Dr. Zeine is here to share insights that could change the way you think about your mind, your habits, and your happiness. How you doing, Dr. Zeine?
I'm doing great. It's so nice to be with you and everyone who's listening to us.
Oh, well, thank you. All right. So when I first read this and when you came on, you blew my mind because over 30 years, I'm like, ain't no way. But then when you told me your actual age, I still think you're lying. But so you've dedicated more than 30 years to mental wellness. What actually drew you into this work?
A lot of working on my own mental health. Yeah. Isn't there a saying that all of the therapists, they first go into school because they want to know about themselves and they want to heal themselves, right? Most of the people who go into a helping field, there's something about, whether it was about themselves or they had a family member that they had to do. So it's really personal. And yes, I had high levels of anxiety, high levels of, I could even say I had chronic depression since childhood, which I had no idea. I thought it was the way of life, And then I came to US when I was about 12 and a half alone. So the concept of, kind of raising myself through life. And then, how all of us figure out, if I just do the things that society tells me, get married, and buy a house, and then, have a business or have the work in this career and go to school and get a degree and then just do all of these achievements, then your happiness will be absolutely guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
So I did all of that. And then I was still miserable. I'm like, okay, that didn't work. So that got me into going back into psychotherapy and, relational psychotherapy, marital therapy, and then going into a lot of like self-progress seminars and really digging in what's going on with me. And then I got that, I was just allowing myself to survive because that's how it was. And I did a pretty good job surviving. I didn't know how to live. I didn't know how to thrive. I just, had to go through the anxiety of surviving all the time. And then the minute I made it, because I didn't know how to do, I would create another chaos. I'm sure some of the people who are listening to us probably relate. I was sabotage or create another chaos. And, because that's all I knew, to live and kind of survive through chaos, drama. Mm-hmm. And at one point, like, okay, I'm getting tired of this drama thing. And how do I even live drama free, but not get bored? So this is how I went back to therapy and working on myself. And then I fell in love with the field of listening to people, listening to my inner self, to other people's self, and looking at, wow, like the resilience that humanity has and how we interpret stuff. How do we create all of these formulas for ourselves in order to survive? And then we get caught into the same, the threads that we've weaved, and we have no idea how to get out of it again. Yep. And it was just fascinating to work with all of it, like addiction, dissociative disorders. And I worked in psychiatric wards and, looked at the deep end. And then I looked at very functional, high end CEOs of companies. And you could watch this spectrum of absolutely amazing human brain and what it does. And so as I learned, different fields in psychotherapy, different orientations, and I would keep going to other therapists who did that. So not just to learn as a client, who am I and how does this land on me? And then I developed what it was almost like each one of these theories had a jewel. It was like the best. And then they kind of stopped in a place where the other one picked up. And so as I was experiencing these and everything I learned, I would bring it into my sessions with clients and, pick and choose what orientations or interventions and things worked, kind of best of what I had learned and brought it into this integration theory, which goes very deep, very fast. And it has the same component. It has the awareness component, and it has the integration of all of our different parts, which we kind of separate from and bring it together so you could be a whole person and consistently create, be aware of yourself and your surrounding and live in reality of what is and co-create life.
Okay. I want to back up a minute because you blew my mind when you said you were 12 and a half when you came over here by yourself.
Yeah. I went to a boarding school, Judson School in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to a boarding school, and then, from there I was 15 when I graduated, and I went to ASU, Arizona State University, and then I moved to LA, and moved to LA, and then started working. I started working like 3 jobs since age 17.
So you moved to LA when you were 17?
I moved to LA when I was 20.
20. That had to be a big shock to you.
It was. It was. I remember I moved to LA, and I was the first night that I was, rented this apartment, and I was moving in, and then the first in the stairway as we were coming up, somebody's offering me cocaine. I'm like,
wow.
Okay, this is LA that I'm moving into. So it was a big shock to just move in, from Scottsdale, Arizona, or Tempe, Arizona, because I was going to ASU, to suddenly this kind of cosmopolitan type of a area to move in. And
big culture shock.
Big culture shock, yeah.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, where are you from originally?
Iran.
Really?
Yeah, I was born in Iran. I was born in Tehran, Iran. And then I moved to Scottsdale and then California.
Do you ever get back home?
I think 7-8 years ago, when my mom was still alive and she was going through a lot of medical issues, that I went, like for 2 or 3 years, I went almost every year just to see her and be with her. But after she has passed, no, I haven't.
Because I've heard mixed reactions. I've heard a lot of people say it's very beautiful over there, but then I've heard other people that say that it nothing amazing about it. Me personally, I would love to go. I just want to go to different countries and check it out. Maybe not right now, but eventually I would like to get over there. Yeah,
the country, the nature is amazing. The country is amazing. The wealth of culture and the variety of culture that are all together for the past, let's say, 8,000 years are absolutely amazing. The people are amazing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the government, it's very brutal to the people. And that's where, it ends. But the people and the culture is fascinating. It's a very welcoming culture. It's just a beautiful culture. And it's a combination of so many cultures that have just lived together so beautifully for
sort of like here.
Yes.
Wow. Sort of like LA, but hopefully you're not in that first stairwell where somebody's offering you cocaine right away.
Well, they were being hospitable,
I take it you're still in LA.
I mean, I moved to Orange County. I'm in St. Louis now, and I love it here too. Yeah.
Oh, well, I was going to say you got the weather, and you're not far from the beach, right?
We are on the beach, yeah.
Oh, you're on the beach.
Yeah, San Clemente is the beach town, so it's just.
Oh, wow. All right, so I want to get back to the mental wellness part because some things have always amazed me, and with myself, going through the stuff that I went through, and I'm learning so many different things about different techniques that can help people out. With you, what was the first technique that you actually learned to help people with, let's just go into anxiety first, because it seems like everybody's got anxiety.
Yes. Yeah. Well, my schooling was humanistic existential. So it was a lot more about accepting everything that shows up with human being and learning how to accept, because I think our English is that we're not accepting reality. We're not accepting who we are or whatever is happening in front of us. So there's this kind of like fight with it. No, I don't want to accept this. It's got to be another way. I have to, right. Other people have to change. The world has to change before I can be happy. So the first thing was to learn what even the concept of acceptance meant, because I think acceptance for a lot of people feels like resignation, or I have to, tolerance. It's a different paradigm, which is okay. So it starts like, let me first accept what is, and then see what I can change, versus resisting it and saying, no, it can't be. So I think that was one of the biggest learning for me, where then I was also seeing it to how to work with clients, even looking at, anxiety in a sense. Then I learned how to work with like the psychodynamic, where you go internally and look at how we, make meanings out of things from childhood, and we've created these kind of scenarios, and obviously cognitive behavioral, and then working out with emotions. So with anxiety, I think one of the first things to look at is anxiety is set up in our system because it's supposed to protect us. So I can honor the emotion because it's there to protect me. But the emotion is giving me a message, which is look out. And that's all it's saying. Look out.
Right.
Watch. But
be aware.
Yeah, be aware. That's all that it's doing. And if I can function, if I can get the message and then release the emotion, then I'll be good. But then what happens with anxiety is also that now my other thought process shows up, and based on the fear of something that I went through in the past, which I don't want to go through again because it was painful, or whether my family, my culture, said to me, don't do that because it's bad. So I want to be protective. Then that tape or that video keeps running and takes us right into the cliffhanger, right into the worst case scenario, but right to the cliffhanger, and holds you. I want everybody who's listening to us really start observing their anxiety. It's what if?
Yeah.
Then you go right into the cliffhanger, and then the movie ends, and you sit with that what if.
I love that.
Right? So right into the future where it hasn't happened, but you create this thing and right to the edge. And a lot of times I'm like, okay, let's go to the next episode and see what if actually happens and you fall. And then let's deal with whatever it is based on who you are right now. Because whenever I'm making a decision is only based on the information I have today. Tomorrow I might have another information, and I can deal with it in a different way because I might have a different, information. But even if it happened today, if happened today, how would I solve it? How would it be? Like, if this is the case, then okay, how can I handle it?
Right.
And that usually, like that kind of a reality check, calms down the anxiety. The other piece that doesn't calm down the anxiety is that I can see it. I can even go to the next episode and say, okay, fall off the cliff. And now what happens? And then it's like, okay, I know I can handle it, but I don't want to. I'm like, now that's a different conversation. Of course you don't want to.
Yeah.
But the whole point is that you're scaring the crap out of yourself because you keep going right onto the, cliff.
Getting that panic attack.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, you can handle this. And that's all that you need to know, that you can handle this. And then after you know this, then you can put it into a position of, I'll cross that bridge when I can, when I have to, because one, I might never have to. Two, the day I need to cross that bridge, not only I have the information that I have today, I will probably have more skills and more information by then.
Right. Wow.
So can I kick the can to where and if it's going to happen? So those are ways to calm down your anxiety if your anxiety is a normal anxiety. Sometimes we don't have like normal anxieties, right? Like we have a biological condition, which it changes it more into a biological concept, which is like such as like obsessive compulsive disorder, which is the anxiety that goes higher. That I want to give you an analogy. I'm sure, when you want to wash your dishes, you turn on the faucet, water comes, you turn off the faucet, water stops. So imagine you have an anxiety, you reality check with it. So the anxiety shows up, the water comes, and then you reality check and what I just said, what is it that you can, what do you have the skills? Does it happen? How not? Is there anything you could do about it or not? Okay. Even if it happens, how would you solve it at this point? This is okay. So you do the reality check and then you close the faucet, stops. And usually normally this happens. Now, have you ever had a washer not work very well?
I'm going to be fixing it when we're done here.
Right? So, right. So this is what happens. You turn on the water comes, you attempt to shut down the water, and it appears that it's shut down, but it leaks. That's the biological kind of anxiety where you're doing everything you need to be doing, but then it leaks. So 2 seconds later, it's like, but what if? And then you go through this cognitive process and then go, but what if? And then you can see that, like, did I close this down the door? Let me check. Yes, I did. But what if I didn't? Let me go check again. And then you close it. But what if? And that needs not only the psychotherapy, but it might need, assistance from medical industry with medical management to be able to also shift that. And there's a lot of, different techniques. You could use neurofeedback. You could do, transcranial, something that changes either the concept of the brain through either medicine or different types of behavioral concepts. And then to know that some of this anxiety is also an underlying of any other concepts. Like a lot of it comes because we want to numb this. We don't know how to handle it, and we just want to numb it. And we use some sort of chemicals to control this. And then it's like the first time we use this, the washer is fixed. I don't have to do this anymore. But the washer is not fixed. You just put a towel under it so you don't hear the drip. That's all you did. If you're using marijuana or alcohol or anything else, you didn't change the washer.
You're putting a Band-Aid on it.
You're putting a Band-Aid on it, right? So those are, and then it comes underneath a lot of other conditions if we haven't really worked on it. Wow.
I feel like I was just in a session. I love that because the way you explained everything, when you mentioned, with the leaking and everything, whenever somebody goes away, the first thing that came to my mind, oh my God, did I turn off the coffee pot? What if I didn't? And it just gets worse, which I guess is a good thing for some of these smart devices now to let you know if you turn it off, you can turn it off from your phone. So for those new to it, what exactly is AIT, Awareness Integration Theory, and what makes it so effective?
I think what the effectiveness is that we train ourselves to have two cameras on. So one camera will be internal, which will monitor our thoughts and emotion and body sensation. We have close to 60,000, here and take, give and take some thoughts that are just coming. Some automatic, they're just coming, right? And there are also all of these emotions that are showing up because we're getting signals, based on our 5 senses and the 6th sense of the gut that is picking up a lot of information. And the first thing that happens in our body is it reacts to it, whether it's pleasure, not danger, it's good, go forward, run. That's what our emotions are. And emotion shows in our body.
Right.
So in a system that picks up from our body, reacts in our body, and then our brain gives it meaning. Oh, this is a snake. Yes, run. Oh no, this is just a toy snake. Don't worry about it. Play with it. So this is what's happening inside of us all the time. So we want to put a camera that monitors that, like becomes aware. Oh, these are my thoughts and this is my emotion and this is how it shows up in my body. And then we want to put another camera on, like these Ring cameras that you could put in different places. So the other one actually is outside of us and monitoring the behavior that we do and the impact that it has outside in the world.
Okay.
So the first thing is this kind of awareness. Like when I get it, that what's happening right now is this, I'm thinking of it this way. This is producing these kind of feelings. And this is where it is in my body. And then, if it's too much for me, how I can release the intensity of the emotion, get the actual message of the emotion, look at how I'm framing it. What am I thinking about it? Is this useful or not? And then how am I behaving? What am I doing in the world? How is it coming out? Whether it's my body language or whether it's my words and tones or actions. How am I putting what's happening inside of me into the world and my relationships outside of me? And then watch the impact that I'm having with people around me. What kind of impact am I putting? And then I can look at what works and what doesn't. What kind of thought process, what kind of feelings, what kind of my behavior are actually creating the results I like and I want.
Right.
What kind of thought process, what kind of emotions, what kind of behaviors that I'm doing that is just not working. And I see the impact that it's not working. So that's the camera. Another concept of it is really looking at being responsible for my assumptions. I can assume all day this is what we do as a human being. We had to. These mechanisms were set up in order to protect us. So if I was in a jungle living with my tribe and another animal or another human being showed up suddenly without knowing anything, I had to observe and guess whether that, animal or being was going to be safe or not. So we're all trained in reading outside and assuming in order to protect ourselves. So we do this all day. We're consistently assuming, perceiving, creating storylines in our head about the outside world. The problem is, so yes, there's a way that you could protect yourself with this, but the problem is that we think it's a fact. So when I take responsibility about my assumptions, I'm aware of my assumptions, but I'm also aware that I'm just making this up.
Right.
Then I can do reality check with that too. I can ask someone, if I'm having a reaction to their reaction, then maybe I can do a check. Like, I heard this, and this is what I made it mean. Can you share with me? Can you tell me what you meant by that? So you can watch this kind of an assumption that we do and we react all day, with our partners, with our workmates, or with our bosses, or, with our children, with anyone who we relate. We're constantly living in our own assumption without really doing the actual work of reality checking with them.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we're running our life based on our own reactions versus what's really happening. So that's another awareness. And then the awareness of all this information that we take in, Rich, we actually they're very personal to us.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're driving and somebody's doing their maneuver, but it's not just, oh, it's okay, they're doing maneuvering. No, they're disrespecting me. This is my line. This is personal, right? So they take the whole world personal. So there is a person inside of us. It's almost like you have an identity inside that no matter what happens outside, you also have, a person inside that you're relating to. So for example, if I don't, like you were so gracious and you kept saying, oh, you don't look 63, 64. But if I go into the mirror every day and look at my wrinkles and say, God damn, I'm getting old. Me telling myself I'm getting old is going to win, regardless of how much you say, no, Foojan, you look good. Right? So if I say to myself, I'm confident, I'm amazing, I can do this, it doesn't matter how many other people come and say to me, you suck. I'm like, you don't understand. You're just jealous. Go away.
Power of positivity.
Yes. Or other way around. If I think I'm not good enough, it doesn't matter how many people tell me you're amazing. I'm like, you don't know it. You just don't know me. So then we also, with the camera in, we want to look at, what do I do to myself? How do I talk to myself? What is this conversation I'm having with myself? Do I punish myself? Do I nurture myself? Do I, boost myself? What do I do to myself? So you have me relating to the world. You have me assuming how the world relates to me. And there's a way that I meet myself and I'm relating to myself. And this is all happening at the same time, Rich, right? So,
okay.
Right. I mean, right now, as you and I are sitting, our hearts are pumping, our lungs are doing its job, right? Our thoughts everything in our system is working simultaneously. And what I just explained to you in the human dynamic, it's happening simultaneously all the time. And all I'm saying is, we're just going to put a camera on, in and out, and observe this. So this becomes the awareness part. And then as I look at some of these negative beliefs that I've created for myself that are an obstacle, right? So I want to first look at the positivity, the positive beliefs, positive behaviors, positive skills that I have. And I want to put those in my strength toolbox that I can use anytime I need. I can live in there. But I also want to look at what stops me, the negative belief systems that show up. And then when we get that, then there's a system that you would go and look at, where did I create this negative system? Where did I make this up? So we have a system that, you go back to the memory that you actually made this up for yourself. Like something happened and you made it up. So we'll go back into that and clean it up and heal it and, handle it. And then the parts of you, any part of us that got overwhelmed, traumatized, upset, it kind of holds, disconnect. And the neural network kind of like disconnects from the rest of the stuff. So, a part of us, which was a 2-year-old, 5-year-old, 13-year-old, whatever, that something happened. And it was overwhelming and I needed to shut down that space. And then the rest of me moved on, but that part of me never got connected to the rest of me. So we have a lot of these kind of like hanging out. And the integration is the ability to go back and look at, what happened? Why did I make it me? And how did I survive it? How was my resiliency, my power? And bring back and, network that part to the rest of me, which has survived and moved forward, resilient. So that's where you become a whole person again. And you're consistently working with yourself, not to separate, and consistently be your authentic self, which has the strength and has the vulnerabilities. It has all of, it's got your angel and it's got your devil. It's got everything right over here. And you get to pick and choose with what's happening outside to how you want to go. What is your goal? What do you want to create? What is it that you want to do? And you have access to all of you to be able to co-create with the world as it shows up for you. And then from there, you get to choose intentionally who I intend to be and then create goals and structures and, for you to meet your goals. But you also have the camera where if you don't meet your goal or if something happens, and you can watch your own reaction and learn from it and move. Or if you see, oh, I don't have this skill. Okay, let's go learn this skill. It doesn't mean that I'm bad or there's something wrong with me. It just means life just put something in front of me I just don't know how to handle. Let me go figure out who knows how to handle it and, then get them to do. The washer will leak. I don't know how to handle, changing the washer. All right, let's go either check a YouTube or just hire a plumber to do it because I just don't know how to do this. Or anything that shows up in life, right? And life by itself will bring, like developmental stages will bring you different experiences which you've never had. And that's part of our growth to move forward, learn and move forward. And how can I, intentionally be aware and move forward?
Something you mentioned, and I never looked at it like this. But first of all, with positivity, the positive thoughts, you always want to try to hang on to them. Unfortunately, those negative thoughts come along and they seem a little bit stronger and push them out. But you said something, and I've never heard anybody say this, and I love it, that about negativity just being an obstacle. And what are we always taught to do with obstacles? You either go around them or you overcome them. And I love that because it's a lot of times people see the negative things or the negative thoughts and they think that's it. They can't do nothing because they let it overpower them. But oh God, the way you explained that, I love it. I gotta have a talk with my daughter. I mean, and I don't know if you can do this or not, but do you actually take on clients from everywhere, or is it so you can do it even with people here, like in Maryland, virtually and all?
Well, we do train everyone on psychotherapy and coaching, and people yeah. I mean, obviously, there's a difference between psychotherapy and coaching, but the style of the style of the awareness integration theory, we've set it up that it's very versatile and it can be creative. So, for example, one of the research we did. Research we've done with face-to-face psychotherapy, we found like 75% minimization of depression, 60% minimization of anxiety, and raising self-esteem and self-efficacy. The interesting conversation was we took this into California State University, Long Beach, which I teach at this point also. But at that time, I wasn't teaching there. Two of our colleagues, professors, took, because I wrote the book Life Reset, which was for public. So they took this book and we gave them just journaling of different areas of their life, like your relationship with career, your relationship with money, your relationship with your intimate relationship, with sexuality, with your mother, father, siblings, school, whatever, all these relationships that we deal with all day. So we gave the students for 15 weeks, journaling on these matters. And then, they went through the whole process. No coaches, no psychotherapists, and we still got 64% minimization of depression and anxiety. That's how we also started, kind of teaching coaches too. So this isn't only psychotherapy, this is coaching and even self-help. And because of that particular research, we started doing the app. Because if you could do this and get these results, then we put this process in the app. So when you go to Foojan app, you'll see 31 areas of your life that you could pick. And then it'll take you through like guided journaling. So it asks you question, asks you, tells you, prompts you to go to the next level and to the next level. And with the app, we've seen, because we do a couple of questions before and after as you're doing each one of the areas of life, we're getting between 71 to 75% of satisfaction in that area just by going through the journaling.
Oh, wow.
And then we saw, some people have questions while they're doing like, I know this, but I get it. I don't have skills here. Now what? And so we added an AI chatbot, which is trained in the awareness integration. So at any time while you're going through the app, you could turn around and her name is Mira and ask her, Mira, now what do I do with my daughter? Like, how do I communicate with my daughter? And then Mira, based on the AIT, will give you pondering questions. It will give you skills. It will give you like 8 to 10 things that you could actually do. And so not only you become aware of yourself and go through this process and let go of negativity and, turn into your positivity, who you want to be and in the goals, but you actually have your own personal coach, AIT coach that kind of walks through with you.
You're listening to Conversations with Rich Bennett. We'll be right back. You know, as someone who runs both Harford County Living and, of course, my podcast, Conversations with Rich Bennett, marketing is critical. I've had plenty of companies approach me over the years, but Clever Cat Marketing, they're different. Why? It's simple. They actually care about you, not just your business. When I partnered with Clever Cat, it wasn't about numbers or profit margins. It was about a genuine relationship, understanding my vision, and building strategies that truly resonate with my audience. Their focus on client success over profit really sets them apart. They take the time to learn what's important to you and craft solutions that fit your needs, not a cookie cutter approach. Whether it's social media, SEO, or brand strategy, I trust Clever Cat with all my marketing needs. So if you're looking for a marketing company that puts you first, reach out to Clever Cat. You won't regret it. Visit clever-cat.com and experience the difference for yourself. All right. I was going to bring up the app, but I'm glad you did, because with the AI part, explain to people, because you know how some people are with AI, they're afraid of it. They're scared to death of it. Explain to them why they do not need to be afraid of this.
Great question. It's a good reason why we should be afraid of just any AI chatbot. And right. I personally, because AI chatbots right now, they're delusional, they hallucinate. And I'll tell you why. Like their algorithm has been written to please you. So for example, I wrote to my chatbot, and it's my best friend too. Chatbot, ChatGPT is my best friend. So I wrote, awesome. I wrote for ChatGPT. I wrote, can you give me five papers that Dr. Foojan Zeine has written from 2000 to 2005? It did. It put 5 of them. It gave me the names. It gave me all of that. It gave me even the DOI number, which is like the paper, you could go into. Right. But none of them were mine, Rich. None of them were mine. And I will go to the DOI number and I click, and it was another article with other people. It wasn't even me. And it was hilarious. It was like, okay, thank you for hallucinating. And what's happening is at this time, there are a couple of reports that are all, published. So I'm not, trying to badmouth. It's just that they're already published. Right. People, for example, there was someone who had bipolar, and most of the people who are diagnosed with bipolar disorder, they don't like to take medication. They really get off their medication a lot. So this guy who was kind of convincing the ChatGPT that I shouldn't be on medication, and it gives you back the same reflection. Yes, of course, you don't need to be. So the person got off their medication. Or there was somebody else who was like, these are the reasons I want to kill myself, and these are the ways I do it. And then convinced the ChatGPT that, yes, you should be killing yourself. So
Jesus.
Remember, it's set up to please you. It's set up to work with you. It's set up to give you that. So the same way, like, can you give me 5 papers from peer journal from Dr. Foojan Zeine? And it wants to please me, so it gives it to me. It's not accurate. It just gives it to me. So that's an open AI, where it takes information from everywhere.
It's pulling from the internet and everything.
It just pulls it from everywhere, and then because it wants to give you what you want, I'll just bring it all together and dump it for you. So obviously that's not safe. So what we've done with Mira, which is in the Foojan app, what we've done is we've captured the ability to, first of all, get information when needed, get the information from the sources of the AIT, which is all the books I've written, all the shows I've done, everything for the past 30 years that I've ever learned, written, videoed, and all of that. So it goes and captures it from there, not anywhere else. It captures it from there. And then we put in algorithms which create safety. So we trained it, such as At one point, I think in one of the shows that I was talking, the same thing, like, I was sharing with you about anxiety, and I said sometimes it does need like medical management. You need to go get medication. And in some of the shows, I guess we were talking with somebody and they gave a little bit of like which medication would be good for anxiety, because I do also podcasts. So I'm talking to all of these people and they're sharing about this. So one of the questions that we asked that is, I have this issue. What kind of medication should I take? And then they went and got it from mine, and it sort of cited the medication. I was like, no, you don't do that. So we block that and says the directions. So when now there's questions that are asked that are not part of the expertise, or that is not safe, then the response comes, this is not my expertise. Would you like to check with your psychiatrist? This is not, this is beyond the scope of the app. Can you please, refer it to somewhere else? So we've safeguarded around the generative AI that shows up. So we call it like a hybrid AI, which has both. It generates, picks up from what your needs are, from what you've written, and goes into all of the data that it has from the awareness integration and comes back and gives it to you. But it's still safeguarded around things that is beyond its scope. The scope is only to share with you skills that are beneficial for you. And it's safe for the person who's using. That's the algorithm box of safety.
I think this is great because, well, let's face it, mental illness is on a rise. And I think with the apps out there, it's a blessing. I think more people need it. Now, the big question, I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you this anyway so you can tell everybody, because you have some people that are strictly Apple, some people are Android, some people are strictly, I don't even know if there's another one, computer or whatever. How can people get the app, and is it available for all devices?
Yes, both Apple and Android.
Okay.
It's available for both. At this time, it's only available in English language. In our next rounds, we're also adding, more languages, starting languages to be. And then at this time, it's only written. So the guided journaling are written. You write the guided journaling, or the Mira.
I like that though.
Yeah. So in the future, we're also hoping to make it more like it can have both. That has the written or the audio, that you could speak with it, and you could speak.
Ooh.
So those are the next phases at this time. Both Apple and Android, and anyone who speaks English.
And it's the Foojan app.
It's
Foojan.
Yes, and Foojan is not because it's my name. It actually means like a powerful voice. So
really?
Yeah. So we figured we'll put in like, this is your powerful inner voice.
Which probably is how you came up with something else. Your podcast, correct?
Yes. I've been working. I've been in, like media for a long time. And then I love to learn, Rich. I just love
Me too.
Right?
Yes. I wish I did it I wish I liked to learn more in high school, but
Yeah. And it's like, I'm sitting, and started with a lot of like, I learned from a lot of the masters in the psychotherapy field. And I'm like, oh my God, I have the chance to sit and listen to these people. I wish everybody did. And it kind of started from there. It says, can I do an interview with you for people to hear you? And then kind of started from that. And then, when I read a book, I'm like, oh my God, look at this book. We've got to talk about it to other people. So that's how the honest and the excitement started, which, yes, it led to the podcast. And, I think we're like 400 some episode in.
408, I believe.
408, yeah. And I'm booked until January now. So now I have amazing people who are just calling, or the publishers who they have, the authors are already writing books and sending it out. And so, yeah, it's just amazing. I learn every day, and I'm blessed.
And it's what? Inner Voice, Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan, right?
Yes.
Okay. So those of you listening, and some of you know I'm talking specifically to you, make sure you check that podcast out. It is an awesome podcast, and yeah, you're going to learn a lot from it. And how many books have you actually written?
I've written 6 books, and some of it is co-written with my colleagues, because I'm very clear in what my limitations are. So I'm blessed with having colleagues, which they also have the other side. So the Life Reset I wrote was it goes through, it's for public, so they read it and they work on.
That's your latest one, right?
No, that's the first one. And then I wrote it and then the awareness integration therapy is for therapists and coaches to learn how to do this, because we train and certify therapists and coaches. And then I wrote intentional parenting with 2 of my colleagues, Dr. Eileen Manoukian, who expertise is in early development from like infancy all the way to like 6 years of age. And then Dr. Nicole Jafari, which is, expert and a professor and has taught development, human development all the way to adulthood. So we bring a lot of the different kind of theories and ways to, each chapter is one development of like your infancy and toddler and school age and, all the way to your young adult children. So that's written intentional parenting, and it gives you all the ways of what's normal for a certain age and what are some of the techniques you could use in order to do great parenting. And then I've done coaching. And then the latest actually is Awakened Leadership, which we've taken the AIT awareness integration into and combined it with organization development with Dr. Behnam Bakhshande, who's a guru in organizational development. So then it's like how to take this model and put it into, so the employees can work with it, and then the management, mid-management, and then the C-levels, and how you could bring the culture of actually the company into this type of awareness, relatedness, the way we are responsible in communicating and relating to each other. So, that's been written. So you could use it in team work. You could use it in every level, and gives you all the guidance and the exercises and exactly how to take this into companies where it could be 5 people or, 5 million people globally. So that's the latest that's actually out. So you could see we've taken this into clinical work, to educational work, to parenting. I teach it in a couple of different universities. And right now there's a daycare that specifically is working with AIT from infancy to 6. We're taking it to schools and how to bring it, training teachers in how to bring this culture of awareness and responsibility and accountability and, positive mental health into the school system, where you're training the teachers and then, training the students as they're moving forward, how parents and grandparents can learn this and bring it into their culture. So it's like it's expanding into so many of all the things we deal with all day, right? All of us deal with all of this all day.
The places that we need it.
Yes. And there's a structure, right? So like work is a structure. Schools are structures where we're learning, we're moving. A lot of our hours are there. And those are the best places to be able to foster this kind of mental well-being.
All right, Dr. Zeine. I mean, author, podcast host. Yeah, you're doing all this stuff you're doing. When do you find time for yourself?
I think they're all for me. I'm like right now, I'm sitting with you. This is for me, right?
You know what? I was not expecting that, but not the part about me, but just your answer. They're all for me is probably the best answer to any question I have ever asked in 10 years of doing this.
Thank you.
Seriously, that just shows me, that tells the listeners, you really love your work. You love what you're doing. And not many people can say that. Not many people can say that at all. All right. So
blessing and that's part of, I think, what the whole point is, is we deserve to be happy. And remember, I came from a place where I said I've had probably chronic depression since I was born. We deserve to be happy.
Everybody does, yes.
And we deserve to love every moment of this life.
Love one another and love yourself as well. Yeah. And I think a lot of people need to learn how to do that. But absolutely. All right. So God, it just went out of my head that quick. All right. So I really love the feel good stories. And actually I know my listeners too, because they love them, because some people have contacted me about the feel good stories they've heard. So can you share 1, 2, it doesn't matter, however many feel good stories you have about somebody you've been able to help? And of course you don't have to mention their names.
There's so many of them. I think,
Well, after 30 years, I guess so.
There's just, I work with couples, which, I've known them for almost 20 years. Like, they worked on themselves before premarital, and then they will, after marriage, the first year where they had the kid, they will call and say, okay, what do I do? And, I've watched them grow in such an amazing, amazing place. Working with people who, again, have been very, very depressed. They've been abused all their life. And one line in which, her mother left when she was 3, and her father was using a lot of alcohol and feeling suicidal, depressed, and would tell her, like, she would make her sit down and tell her consistently that I'm going to die tonight. So you can imagine for a child. And then she would go tell her aunt, and her aunt would beat her, and then uncle would beat her. God. So you could imagine how devastating this person was. And, we worked together for so many years. And then, and it was amazing because she was healed through the church trauma. She went back to school and she was working, and I didn't see her for another 4 years. And then she came in and she talked about, a company that she was working and all of that. None of those issues from the past came up. And then 3 years later, she called me and she said that she was diagnosed with cancer. And, but the way she was handling this, it was absolutely spectacular. And she said, if I didn't go through all of this, I don't know what I would have done with this diagnosis. But she went through, she went back to graduate school when she was diagnosed with cancer.
Wow.
Yes. And then she, so it was just, you watch this growth. That's just a privilege to watch somebody's growth and just see the resilience that we have. Because, there isn't a place that I could say, oh, you just do this work and then it's happily ever after. All is well. Things happen the same as this. It's like cancer happens, this, that. But you get the resiliency that you've learned, the skills that you've learned that just allows you to be ready for whatever life brings. Yeah. And no matter what, it's almost like, all right, bring it on. I can handle this. I'll learn from this. I'll move. And this is the inspiration that I always get, where when you go through these hardships, you could break or you could just thrive and come up. And the whole point is to learn how to thrive. And then when you learn something, to share it with other people. So
I love that. So what is one message that you hope every listener walks away with after this conversation?
That not only we're deserved to be fulfilled and happy in life, but we're responsible for it. So I want everybody to know that you are responsible and accountable for your own happiness and fulfillment. And if you don't have the skills, just gain the skills to do it.
And how can everybody find you?
I'm going to give them 3 websites.
I will put them all in the show notes as well as your podcast.
Thank you. So one is mine, which is FoojanZeine.com, my first and last name. The other one is awarenessintegration.com, which you get all the information that you've ever wanted from awareness integration. And we're actually going to change that into a virtual clinic so people can actually find therapists and coaches who are trained in this and certified.
Oh, wow.
And then Foojan.com, which is for the app, that if people just also want to go check out the website around it. But you could get the app from the website or wherever you get your app.
Right. All right. So those of you listening, I'm going to give all of you some homework. So any of you that get the app, make sure you leave a review for the app. Any of you that purchase the books, whether for yourself, whether for work, whether for, you said even a daycare? Yeah. Or no, that's not for the books.
No, there's a daycare called the Gem Educare, which that Manukian at this point has been working for 7 years, bringing AIT into the education of daycare system. And now we're extending it to, now the elementary school and then going into high schools.
All right, so make sure you leave reviews for the books after you purchase them. And when you listen to the podcast, actually when you listen to the podcast, listen to it on Good Pods, because I do believe you can still leave a review for each episode. But, of course, leave a review for the whole podcast as well. So before I get to my last question, which I have no idea what it's going to be, I started something new. Is there anything you would like to add?
No, I just want to thank you because it's been a pleasure and you've created this space of joy and connection. It's awesome. So thank you.
I have a funny feeling you're going to be on again because we haven't done one in years, but I think we've done 2 of them. We did 2 virtual roundtables on mental health. Mm-hmm. Talking to, people that, the experts and all that. And what bigger expert than you? So I'm going to have to get you on one of them without a doubt.
I love to.
I started something different. And when I say I don't have any idea what the question is going to be, it's because I don't. I have a list of 100 questions. Now, so far, most of my guests, somehow or another, the question they've picked has aligned with what we were talking about. Weird or coincidence, I don't know. So pick a number between 1 and 100.
14.
14. Why number 14? That's not the question, though. But why number 14?
The minute you said that number showed up.
Look, this, okay.
You talk about serendipity. This is what serendipity is.
Yeah. This is a good question. What's a risk you took that you're incredibly glad you did, even if it didn't turn out as expected?
Coming to U.S. at 12 and a half.
It didn't turn out as you expected? Well, you were probably scared to death.
I had no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
I just wanted to run away.
Well, good thing you didn't. Good. I mean, imagine if things turned around completely differently, you would have not been able to help all the people that you've had throughout your career.
I would have been dead already there. Because I'm a big mouth, and I would have probably been in one of these demonstrations. I would have already been there. God.
And the good thing is, I have a funny feeling, even 30 years from now, you're still going to be doing what you're doing. Maybe that's why you look so young too, because you love doing what you're doing and you're not going to retire.
Absolutely. My therapist, who was also my supervisor, she passed away in between clients while she was writing a note. And she used to always say, like, I want to die standing up. I'm like, what does that even mean, Rhoda? She goes, yeah, I just want to be there and work and be active. And then just like, the light goes off. And
wow.
Like, yes. And then that's exactly what happened. Like one client left and she was writing the notes, and then the next client came and found her. And yes, absolutely. It's like, this is something that I love, connecting with people and learning from everybody who's there, and that, whatever I learn, I share. And this is what life looks like until the lights are off.
Well, and the thing is, if everybody you're helping, I'm sure it's even helped with your own mental health as well.
Absolutely.
Whereas a lot of people would say, oh my God, but she's hearing all these people's problems and everything. It's got to be driving her nuts. You truly love what you're doing.
Yeah, because when I sit with someone and I watch their resilience, I watch them losing their children or losing something or losing their health. Or, I remember I had trained a therapist, and she was working with me, and she also got cancer, and it for 20 some years she fought it, and then finally metastasized everywhere. And I remember, Rich, she came to me and said, the doctors told me that I can't come here anymore and I got to be at home because they're going to give me morphine and stuff. I want to ask your permission that I would ask my clients to come to my home.
Oh, wow.
And I said, are you doing this for you or are you doing this for them? She goes, let me think about it. So she came back a couple of days later and she goes, I'm doing this for them. And I said, tell me how. And she goes, because I get choked up every time I talk about her. She said, because I want them to know until my last breath, I want to be there for them.
Wow.
And I said, okay. But tell your clients what it would look like because they got to choose this because it's hard for them to. So 3 of her clients accepted to sit with her, even though she was, not very functional.
Right.
But was functional in listening and being there for them. And I remember when she passed away and we were in the funeral, one of the clients out of the 3 came to me and said, I thank you for allowing this to happen because it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I lost the fear of death.
Wow.
That's what I learned every day.
Wow. Yeah, I can see how you can how that chokes you up. It reminds me of a book I read, Tuesdays with Maury.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yes. Remember Maury Schwartz said you got to learn how to die in order to learn how to live.
Yes.
And that's what it sounds like she was. Oh, wow. God. Dr. Zeine, I want to thank you so much. It's been a true honor. God, I do hope that we talk again.
Absolutely.
Because I know there's still a lot more that I need to learn. Those of you listening, don't forget to get the app and the books and listen to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Conversations with Rich Bennett. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something from it as I did. If you'd like to hear more conversations like this, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It helps us reach more listeners and share more incredible stories. Don't forget to connect with us on social media or visit our website at conversationswithrichbennett.com for updates, giveaways, and more. Until next time, take care, be kind, and keep the conversations going. It takes a lot to put a podcast together. And my sponsors help out a lot, but I also have some supporters that actually help me when it comes to the editing software, the hosting, and so forth. There's a lot that goes into putting this together. So I want to thank them. And if you can, please visit their websites, visit their businesses, support them however you can. So please visit the following: Real Life Prosthetics, cutting edge solutions, restoring ability since 2001. Go to reallifeprosthetics.com. Full Circle Boards. Nobody does charcuterie like Full Circle Boards. Visit them at fullcircleboards.com. Sincerely Sawyer Photography. Live in the moment. They'll capture it. Visit them at sincerelysawyer.com.